my opinions on this do not matter, but I'm too lazy to type, so I'm gonna make a video because why not? Everybody's gonna probably fight anyway. So, yeah. Fandoms are getting really fanatic, really radicalized, I guess. I don't know. This is all pretentious. Don't watch this if you don't really give a shit. I'm only commenting on it because it's my job, not to comment, but to work in this industry. It's what I do. So my 2 cents don't mean anything. These are just my opinions. They don't matter. I don't like how we aren't supposed to criticize things, because as soon as we try to, people start to derail things with, you can't make broad generalizations. And we're reminded that everyone's biased and that everything is subjective. Of course. But I am of the opinion, again, it's my opinion, that if we can't make broad generalizations, we can't have a conversation. And I'm also of the opinion that while things are subjective, there's also something to be said for evaluating how effective something was. If I were, it just seems interesting to me that the fine arts and the performing arts in postmodern world today are not held to the standards of, like, say, carpentry or welding or stonework or seamstress or tailor work or culinary, like cooking, or music. Even music, with all the different diverse genres of music, you still have to adhere to basic music theory of things have to be in sync, they have to be in a time signature, and they have to be in a tuning, in a key, in a scale, or else it's just noise. That basic understanding governs how we judge music. If you like the music genre, that's subjective. But if you did something in time and in tune, is not. It's the same thing with food. You don't have to like the food, but if you don't adhere to measurement, at least to some degree, and to temperature and time, you will spoil the food, right? Whether you like the food, it's subjective, but that the recipe, as it were, even if you deviate, it still has to generally be adhered to. It's the same thing with seamstress work or working like tailor work. If you don't adhere to measurement, the fabric will not stay on the subject. If you do, same thing with, like I said, carpentry and architecture. Whether we're talking about the design side or the actual execution side, you must adhere to certain laws of physics, or the structure will not, it won't stand up, it'll fall down. I don't understand, writers, even if you're a writer, like, you have to adhere to language and grammar and spelling, or else people won't be able to understand what you've written. I don't understand how fine arts like drawing and painting and performing arts like acting or filmmaking are not held to a similar standard. We could get into the nitty gritty and say that technicians do, the techies do, like the people who edit, the people who actually record the event, like the sound engineers, the actual cinematographers, they do. They have standards, but the actual performer guys don't. And that bothers me. I think it's a little bit of arrogance. It grows out of this abstract avant-garde postmodernism where people just want to sit there and break things apart just to showcase how smart they are. And it just feels like pandering to other people, to me. It's my opinion. I'm sure I'm incorrect. I'm not a genius, nor do I think I am. I certainly don't think I'm superior to anybody in this industry at all. But I don't understand how David Mamet says something I really like, and I'm going to take it out of context, and I'm sorry, and I'm sure I'm paraphrasing, but he has this great quote that says, "Be effective, not original." And for me, in an era where everybody has a platform now to put things online, which is great, although net neutrality is That's a whole other story now. Jesus, I can't. Anyway, it's not impressive that you can create something. It's impressive if you effectively create something. And I know that's subjective, if you like it or do not like it. But we still should be able to look at something and critique it, hopefully to make you improve, to make you better. Which means we have to look at it not so much in a mystical, oh, it made me feel this kind of way, but in more of like a, well, here's what you did that didn't work. And I think that's what's missing. I think you need people in your life, critics or friends or colleagues, peers, who say, don't do that. That's ineffective. And I think that's what's missing. I think we need that, and I think it's not happening. We don't create stuff for ourselves necessarily, although you can. We create things for an audience. And there is a certain standard we must meet. We must belly up to the bar. That doesn't mean pander to fandom necessarily. Good God, don't pander to fandom. But it also means try to be effective at what you're doing. And I think that is disappearing because of the echo chambers that are now cultivated online. This is all my opinion. None of this matters. I would have typed it, but I'm too lazy. Disregard this video. I agree with the status. We must be able to hold artists to a standard, even though things are subjective. I'm more impressed nowadays, not so much by creativity and originality, but more by how effective you executed something. I'll give you an example, and then I'll leave you guys alone. I'm so sorry that I'm doing this, subjecting you guys to this. Because they're just my opinions. They really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. There is a difference between Bob Dylan and Jimi Hendrix with the version of the song All Along the Watchtower. Most people I talk to don't even realize that song was written by Bob Dylan. Bob Dylan is the creator of that song. But the cover, All Along the Watchtower by Jimi Hendrix, is considered by most, and I include myself in this, to be the definitive version. And that comes from personal taste and subjective opinions, but I think it speaks to what I'm talking about. It isn't a matter so much of being the songwriter, being the creator. It matters more of how effectively you performed something. I prefer someone who can perform it better than anyone else, subjectively speaking, versus the person who created it. Sometimes the creator is the best person to perform it, but sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not. I guess this is all I'm getting at. I don't know. Be effective, not original, and being criticized, even if it's negative, can be constructive. It can be helpful. Some people do it to be mean, but if you're trying to do this as a career, you've got to get used to rejection and used to people not liking what you do. So, I don't know. I just didn't feel like typing it. This video doesn't matter. Don't watch it.